Swagger. The question for you boys tonight, since the last hour and a half of my life was spent on prime numbers and composite numbers, when are we done with math? Aren't there antiquated things from the past that we don't do anymore? There was a time where you had to blacksmith your own shoes, you had to forge your own nails, you had to build your own house, you had to plumb your own plumbing. When are we done with fucking math, dude? Like, I don't know what this kid's ever going to be like, interesting that you've offered this to me, boss man, because that, in fact, is a prime number. It only has two factors, one, and itself. When is that ever going to factor in to modern life? When do we give up that? Because I had to go to ChatGPT to have me be able to explain it to a fucking 10-year-old. When and why not now?
Wait, you had to fucking ChatGPT how to explain prime numbers to a 10-year-old?
That's, by the way, that's the exact prompt I put in. How do I explain prime numbers to a 10-year-old? That's what I typed in the ChatGPT. I know what a prime number is. I get it. I honestly didn't know composite numbers were all the other numbers. I didn't know that's what they were called. But I was aware that they had other factors, multiples and such. Can you divide them by this number? And that's a factor or composite fucking number. Mm-hmm. See, I'm a little agitated, a little frustrated, and I'm just wondering when the technology is finally going to allow us to release ourselves from these shackles of our former lives.
From knowing numbers? Hopefully never.
It's not even... Okay, well, hopefully... Why do you say never? Hopefully never.
Because you got to know numbers, bud. That's why they teach 10-year-olds numbers. I know your ilk isn't into education and shit, but like, come on, man. You even want your child to know what numbers are, right? Like, or are we there? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, man. Like, he's quick on the math. He's quick on the adding, the subtracting. He's pretty good at dividing. He's whiz on multiplication.
Now, there is a choice at some point in time where he can continue to do more math or not. But I think you're at the basics of math fucking kind of segment of life. You should probably just let that one ride.
Wes, let's weigh in on this one, because I think Alan always goes the most absolute negative path that I could be potentially walking. Help me out here. Give me a reason to be on the right track here.
Well, so you're advocating for the just straight up usage of technology to teach. We don't need to learn numbers anymore. Therefore,
no. See, that's where numbers are getting put in my mouth here. What I'm saying is.
You did say plumbing or plums. I just want to make that crystal clear.
I said plum or plumbing. There's a difference. Okay.
I think you understand where the question's coming from after plumbing our plums or whatever he said.
No, I said plum or plumbing. That's a term. It's a phrase. Look it up. Moving on.
And if there was a 13th day of Christmas, it would have been 13 plumbers plumbing. Just.
You're damn right it would be. And in this day and age, they'd be making a shit ton of money. What I'm not advocating for the removal of all mathematics, but what I am getting at is like prime numbers. Why are we doing that? There's certain arithmetic steps. I feel like unless your kid is going to go into like some Mensa program, unnecessary. Let's start teaching them logic and I don't know, maybe some more art and things of that nature.
But like, I think it's for me, it's like, dude, you're basically being like, why do we even teach kids that there are vowels and consonants? Like, that's what I hear when you say, why do we even teach kids that there's problem? Because it's just a basic number concept that helps you understand the rest of math as you go through math. Like, you can then start looking at numbers and be like, all right, that's a prime number. Like, as you get into deeper divisions and multiplications, you can fucking write off numbers. You can do that faster in your head if you understand the basic concept of a prime number. Kind of like being like, hey, there's vowels there. Like, how would you play Wheel of Fortune if you didn't know what a vowel or a consonant was?
I do have to stop you there, though. When I have never, I'm going to be 46 this year. At no point in any complicated problem that I'm trying to resolve have I been like, I know why that's not working. Number's fucking prime. Can't divide that by that.
No, but like, I definitely have, like, in sequence of numbers or like in formulas and shit, been like, all right, that's going to be fucking odd. Like, that's going to be weird because that's a weird number. Like, if I don't learn the concept of a prime number, then like when I start getting into more advanced mathematics, I'm at a disadvantage. Like, you should be able to see those numbers, I would think, to a certain extent. Like, and I sucked at math. I got good at math later when my brain matured and was like, oh, numbers.
Yeah, that's going to be my point here, is if you get to a point in your life where your career pursuit may in fact need that stuff, and your brain is developed, and it's like the concept that you're looking for is easily explained now that you need it. I feel like we could disregard some of this now.
But like, your argument, like, if you were like, hey man, why are we teaching like 10-year-olds imaginary numbers and fucking shit like that? Like, then I'd be like, you know what? That's probably unnecessary. They don't need to know that numbers become imaginary at some point in time. Like, fucking. But what you're saying, like, again, vowels and consonants, like, that to me is like, all right, how do you make words if you don't know what vowels and consonants are? Like, that's where you're at to me. Like, if you were down the line just a little, you were like, why do we even fucking do long division? I'd be like, you know what? Fair. But like, this is, you're like, why do we even tell them that something's a multiple of something else? Like, we learned our times tables. That's literally what
they don't even learn their times tables. That's the other fucking frustrating problem.
That is strange.
Yeah, they pretty much, they don't, like, he's in 4th grade. He just got his first set of flashcards. They're just now trying to get him to, like, quick number recognition. They were teaching them all logic before. I don't even know how to, honestly, I have to write
they made math weird for kids. I'll give you that.
And so I am saying, like, I guess what I'm trying to equate this to, Jet Li, I'll ask you first.
Jet Li,
is it more important to know
it's Wesley, bro?
Damn it! I want to turn this off so bad right now.
Oh, that is awesome. Well done. Well played. I almost want to just quit now. Call it a day. No, I guess under Alan's terms, I guess you're talking about importance of things. We don't teach kids how to field dress animals anymore or anything like that. I would say in the grand scheme of survival of life, like knowing how to take an animal out of the wild and survive off of that meat when the cataclysm finally comes. Because I have a feeling when ChatGPT is no longer available, neither's the power grid. Neither is fucking potable water. So I'm just saying, like, are there things that we can take away? When do we take them away? I'm getting to Wes Lee first, sir.
Yeah, I certainly think that the educational system is a little bit behind the bell curve on, and they always will be, on teaching reasonable logic, life skills that pertain to not just now, but when that person's going to be, 10 years down the road. Even when I was in high school, do you want to know what I said and have always said is the most important class I ever took in any grade school, K through 12?
Is it home ec?
Typing.
Yeah, we didn't even know we were going to need that. I took that the brown fox runs fast or whatever. Fuck you, fox. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I joked around. I dicked around with Adam, our legal counsel, and got a B. And little did I know I was, and I'm not even saying I'm very good at it, but it's I don't have to think about that in a job interview anymore.
And that's a good point.
Yeah.
But with cursive, like they got rid of cursive because they were like, well, you don't have to write fast anymore. And they replaced cursive with typing. So, Alan, I'm not advocating for the abolishment of like mathematics. I'm just saying, like, are there certain like principles of mathematics that we can kind of like gloss over and get to more important things?
Yes, but not the one that you chose. That's all I'm saying. Like, I already agreed with you. Again, you can't not know vowels and consonants. That's what you're saying to me.
No, I'm saying I don't care what a prime. I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know composite is what the other ones were called. I mean, it's like knowing vowels, and it's like you need to know the consonants. Yeah, I guess it's everything else. So I guess I just like discarded that because it was unnecessary information. What are the primes?
It is, but you had to know it at some point in time, like as a basis to the rest of your fucking life of words. Like, you had to learn that at some point, just like you had to learn the alphabet. You're still in the build. Like I said, if you were like 3 years later and you were like, man, why do we even do this part of fucking multiplication or division? Why do we even do parentheses and shit? Like, I'd be like, you know what? With you. I hate math. It's dumb. Like, but I just think the one you chose, that's what I've been given.
What I was about to say is I think you guys could probably, just inch in and compromise a little bit more. What it sounds like, Alan, you're saying that Murr's trying to like chop off a few of the basic essential building blocks towards, a subject matter like mathematics, whereas Murr, I'm sure you guys could meet in the middle somewhere that made a little more sense. Let's say 8th grade, 9th grade, maybe, once you get into like what and then again, I'm not saying that algebra 2 trigonometry is useless. What I'm saying is that the people who don't want to learn it, let's start inching them into other fields of interest.
That's fair.
I agree with that 100%. Like if a kid by the time he's in 5th grade is dumb at math, okay? Like let's say he's a C math student. Let's just be like, hey man, you talk a lot better than you fucking calculate. Let's get you into the reading and writing programs.
Here's the thing. I'm sure you can have a pretty big Venn diagram, whereas I wanted to go to college and not just to drink, which is what I did mostly in college. Now, hindsight's being 2020. I didn't know that in high school, but like I would have 10 times out of 10 would have wanted to learn how to build a functioning electrical lamp rather than take algebra 2 trig. And I don't think that should have sacrificed my dreams of going to a 4-year college and getting a degree. I think you could should be expand kind of thing. Now, again, unfortunately, I think a lot of this comes down to money and, fielding, educated educators or people who can educate the subject matter in articulate fashion, and how many of them. But I guess what I'm trying to say is there were instances where not just, vocational subjects or vocational classes that basically geared towards people who weren't going to go to a 4-year school. Whereas I thought, hey, I would have liked to learn that. I would have liked to learn some how to use a framing square.
Yeah, and I took a lot of woodshop classes when I was in school, but I don't know why for whatever reason, our guidance counselor was damn sure that I was staying in college prep, and I was like, well, maybe I should go to the tech school. And it's like, nah, I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially let me know that the bad or / dumb kids went to tech school. And then I'm seeing who's making all the money now, and I'm like, they weren't too dumb. They were just bullheaded and stalwart on their chosen profession that they had in their mind when they were in school. I mean, with the 3D printer stuff, right, that I've got for the boy, I'm trying to teach myself CAD. I'm trying to teach myself how to code. Why is that not a viable skill set to take to a workplace? It'd be a machinist.
Those are definitely viable. Well, but I think the physical things, we had a generation, kind of like generation and a half, honestly, that was geared away from fucking trades. My parents, your parents, maybe, I don't know how old your parents are. My parents are in their 70s, and they were like, yo, you're going to college. That was the thing. And I was like, my brothers didn't go. They drove trucks and fucking did other bullshit, and then they're fine. I think Lou's in sales now with Pepsi. He's been in sales with them for fucking 20 years. Does fine for himself. But yeah, I think I agree with you guys. I would have loved to have taken more shit. Now me and my homeboy were very that was our aptitude. We loved technical shit, and I loved being in a lab, and that's why I was a biology major, fucking originally. Yeah. Before I was like, fuck this is way too hard. Fucking, I gotta get out of here. I spent a few years fucking around, and I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Damn near lost a finger.
Yeah. But no, that would have been way fucking cooler. And I think you should have the option. I liked my high school because it was college prep, and I did get to pick a little bit more of what I took. I did take more sciences. I came out with fucking anatomy credits and shit like that. Because I was able to do that. So I think in the same vein, you should still be able to choose those technical fucking classes to take. That'd be fucking sweet.
I agree. And first of all, Murr, what did your guidance counselor be like? What are you going to do? Are you going to talk for a living?
No, because back then I didn't even. I was honestly so picked on in high school, even by my peers, that I didn't really speak that much. Yeah, no, I wasn't even talking shit yet, Alan. I was just fucking keeping my mouth shut, trying not to fucking call attention to myself.
As a person who may or may not have picked on people, you look pick onable. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
pick on you. Yeah.
Hard to disagree with you, apparently.
Yeah, like, and I don't mean like I also was in a weird situation where I was like it was the same 60 kids in this private school from K through 8, so we all bullied each other. I wasn't the like a bully that stood out. Like I got roasted. Everybody got roasted. You know what I mean?
Right.
But still, yeah, you got it pretty good.
But I can handle roasting. I can, and
just light roastings. It wasn't like we.
No,
were
you see, I can handle, but it was
beat
like
people up or anything.
It was like verbal gangbanging against me. Like there's
I was
nothing
gonna
I
say.
can.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, what do you do? I mean, I know people now that have I've gone to high school reunions and been like, dude, sorry. Like, fucking thanks, I guess. Fuck
Thanks,
you,
man.
25 years later.
Yeah, 25 years of emotional trauma. I appreciate it. Cool. My life turned out exactly like I wanted because I had fucking these scars in my fucking brain.
We always used to joke. There was one girl who was a stripper for quite a long time, and we were like,
she's still at it. She's still doing it.
No, she's not.
I age out by now, Wes.
Yeah, but we were like,
I'm a married man. Christ.
We all were like, we probably had a part in that in early childhood traumas.
Yeah.
Just
that's tough.
That was always a joke. I don't know that we did, but maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility. Is all I'm saying.
Bummer.
Bummer, man.
And then our whatever any of our wives, this is like our home crew. You know my guys from around the way. Like we'll talk about this story, and our wives will be like, "You fucking assholes! Like you straight bullies." And we're like, "Listen, there was the one kid. He was a little weird. Now we would probably say he was like low end of the autism spectrum." Fucking genius. He went to the University of Chicago. He's like a fucking physicist. He like, I don't know, makes robot arms and shit. Like we bullied that guy into being one of the smartest people in the fucking country.
Yeah.
So
he realized I got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I know where none of these people will end up. Higher education.
you get and you give, you know? You get a stripper, you get a fucking guy who's going to win a Nobel Prize probably sometime.
I will say, as far as like the jabs I took, you know, like the George Costanza syndrome where like the jerk store, like he's wound himself up. I feel like I wound myself up internally. And so when it came time for me to actually unleash the verbal assault upon the world, I had figured it out internally before I actually did it externally. But Jesus Christ. Well, this is fun. Yeah. Welcome to math.
Hey, so before we get to our bit, first of all, I want to let you guys know we were live streaming for about 10 minutes, and all it was a picture of Murr the entire time. So we're gonna.
We gotta do a little work.
It wasn't even changing, so I'll see. I'll see about maybe perhaps we. For those of you who listened in on Instagram for a hot minute, we apologize. Perhaps we'll try a different medium on the next go around. I do want to ask you guys this, and this is a serious question. So take things like you also have to understand your target audience, or not even your target audience, your audience, targeted or otherwise. In a public setting, just say public school or somewhere like Murr and I went, and you're looking at it from an economics or accounting type of class or curriculum, and you're trying to teach someone like a 401k or the importance of a retirement. Yeah. Okay. There's obviously going to be people that are just not going to give a fuck. They're going to be in the back like, I don't give a shit. But that's important, right? So what do you do? Do you make that an elective? Be like, hey, if you want to start saving now and retire by the time you're 40, come to this class.
Yeah. But I think that should be that obviously should be mandatory. Like they never taught us how to balance a checkbook. They literally, I remember specifically in a civics class, they showed us how to write a check, but they didn't teach us anything about the numbers associated with the check, like like interest and just percentages, or how much of your net worth this is going to be once you fucking put the number in the box and write it out,
right?
And all that jazz. I did see on TikTok the other day. It's the first time I've ever actually seen one of these in full. It was the guy coming into the rookies and explaining their fucking paychecks to them.
Oh yeah, the NFL does that. Yeah.
I know, but I've never actually seen it. I know they do it, but I've never actually seen the class.
Yeah,
like almost like a Hard Knocks segment. And dude was just like, this was his opening, and it was just so. I was like, oh yeah. that makes sense. Because he's like, listen, you're getting a $10 million check. Let me just do the numbers simply. 50 of that's going to Uncle Sam. Here's the other thing. Each one of these checks is broken up into 17 games. Here's the other thing. You have to pay tax in all whatever 8 of the other stadiums.
Every city you're at, yeah.
Every city you're in, yeah.
Except for, and then he starts naming some guys that are like playing like Texas and stuff like that, like in Florida. They don't pay tax on their checks when they play their home games because they don't have blah, 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 blah. It's like, holy shit. And he's going through like, so if you gave your buddy $100,000, you got it. I saw your check. Well, guess what? Your first paycheck, $300,000, 50's going to Uncle Sam, 50%'s going to Uncle
Your
Sam.
Agent.
Yeah, 18%'s going to your agent. And then he's like, you actually gave away more money than you earned on that paycheck. You guys got to know this shit. And I'm like, yeah, I wish somebody would teach me that shit. 401ks, how the numbers like crunch. Maria's 401k, she's only been fucking putting into it half the time I've been putting into mine, and hers is more than mine. I'm like, oh shit, do I need to change from the G fund to the L fund? What the fuck is going on here?
Nah, yo. Get them
fucking... don't leave that G fund, baby. Keep crip walking that G fund. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, get fucking bite the bullet, pay the tax on that bitch, make it a Roth, and fucking put that bitch put that bitch in index funds. Wow.
Okay.
Dunsies. That's all you gotta do. Nice and easy, baby.
I was thinking, take it all out, put it all on Florida Atlantic, their next home game. What do you think, Wes?
Same, really.
Half Florida Atlantic, half black here at the Horseshoe. We'll let it roll, baby.
Good to go.
Middle class hoes, everyone. Foxman, Alan, and Murr. Thank you for joining us. The 0 people who joined our live feed for 10 minutes over on Instagram. We'll figure that out. We got an interesting friend or foe coming up for you. Groundhog Day is right around the corner. And I'm not talking about Bill Murray, Brian Doyle Murray, Andy McDowell, Chris Elliott, all the stars. Murr, what you got for us?
Well, this is actually, in a way, a follow-up from last year when our good friends over at the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals had a suggestion on what to do to get away from Punxsutawney Phil. The vegan treat... Jesus Christ. What is this? PETA suggests replacing Punxsutawney Phil on Groundhog Day with a weather reveal cake. Bringing together all the things I hate, all the things I know Wesley hates, gender reveals, and the soul-crushing nature of getting away from a tried and true tradition. Yeah, PETA would like to create a vegan treat that would mimic that of a sex reveal for a baby, with blue meaning 6 more weeks of winter and pink indicating an early spring. PETA is calling for the change to happen this Groundhog Day. The organization, which we all know what it stands for, they shared this just a few days ago, blah, blah, blah. A weather reveal cake. This one's pretty cut and dry. Friend or foe?
I have a question. Hold on.
Yeah.
When they say a vegan cake, is there any meat in cakes? Is there any... What are they talking about?
Oh boy, I didn't even think about that. Well, there's certain gelatins that apparently use like the hooves of
eggs. Like,
oh yeah,
that's not vegan.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay,
fucking
right, well.
dairy. That's not vegan.
Oh shit.
Yeah, vegans.
Okay, I'm not even
all of that.
Okay,
you're thinking like vegetarian.
Okay,
like vegans. Fucking the step up.
Well, that cake's gonna suck. We get it. Okay, fair enough. Friend or foe?
Yeah, it probably is.
Vegan cake, gender reveal.
Wait,
or
here's my question: though. Does Phil get to eat the cake? If Phil eats the cake, I might be on for it.
Yeah. I'm in.
Okay. I mean, he can't. That bastard can't see a shadow anyway. That's stupid. He can't do that.
I would like it so that they made it an elaborate fucking like you put Phil in like a small dome with like a hatch door at the top, but you put the cake on top of that, and then you open the hatch door and Phil comes out the fucking cake, just covered in fucking cut cake color.
Yeah. Just head to toe.
Punxsutawney folks, give me a fucking buzz.
Hold on, dude. You know what's great about your suggestion is actually worse than what they actually do with Phil. Like they actually just take him out and hold him in the air. Like you saw, this is like let's parade Phil out. Let's make him burst through a confectionery treat. Let's let him gnaw his way through an inedible fucking pastry dish with dyes that'll fucking cause cancer that fucking Bobby Kennedy's trying to remove from foods in the first place. Oh my God. So for that, I'm friend. But for what they're saying is like, no, just the, your guys with their fucking like 3-piece suits with the fucking tails are coming out like, let's see what we got here. Because what would that be? Who made again, the lore of Phil is he sees the shadow or he doesn't. What's the lore of the cake? What's the lore of that?
Yeah, nothing. It's in the hands of the cake maker. You know what I mean? What, does the cake maker see a shadow? Does the bakery see its shadow? Do the bakers?
See, in this instance, the libs are ruining everything. Fucking, it's true.
All right.
In this instance,
you guys had kind of beat a good rant out of me, and I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, the whiners are winning. There's a pandemic, there's an epidemic in the world where if you whine long enough and you whine hard enough, people will just get sick of your fucking whining and they'll do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, this has nothing to do with an event being ruined by alcohol. We've talked about long-standing traditions, things that are just sabotaged by people just consuming way too much alcohol all fucking day, and someone hurting themselves, someone dying, someone getting impregnated, something weird, someone running across 30 urinals and taking 60 Bud Lights to the face and crotch and chest and ass. And that's the Preakness, by the way. This isn't the case. Now, I'm not saying that the good folks at Punxsutawney don't enjoy a cider or a couple beers, okay? But this is a wholesome small town event that's rather unassuming that no one would really fucking know about outside of February 2nd and the Bill Murray movie from 30 years ago. I've never been to Punxsutawney. I've seen Groundhog Day 1,000 times, which makes me an honorary citizen, more or less. That town hasn't changed outside of fashion, cars, some access points, and some public buildings, and people have smartphones. That shit is just the same, okay? It hasn't been ruined, and the whiners are fucking winning. If the whiners are going to win, my proposal is don't make it a cake reveal. Get a Gallagher lookalike with a 10-foot fucking gavel that's 2 foot in diameter, and he bashes the fucking cake, and it splatters all over the fucking crowd. And sorry, did I hit the mic?
No, you're fine.
No.
Oh, sorry. You were like this.
So thinking the same thing.
I liked his idea. I don't know. Are we thinking we're probably not thinking the same thing. Mine is way not. It's even worse than the PETA thing.
If we're gonna pander to the whiners, then we got to get extreme. But the whiners are winning. Damn it.
I like the Gallagher suggestion. We make the cake in the shape of Punxsutawney Phil.
See, we're still using the cake. We're still using the cake. I see you were close. You were close to where I was going. We're still using the cake, though. We get a Gallagher guy, but Punxsutawney's going to be a fucking new one every year, because what you do is you jab up the Punxsutawney with whatever color fucking you want that year into its blood, and then Gallagher smashes Punxsutawney.
Okay.
Oh, it's blue. More winter.
Oh,
very so you're saying
we've ditched we've ditched PETA caring about what we're doing here. We don't care. This is the new America. We kill fucking groundhogs every fucking Groundhog Day.
Well, it's about time to have you on the team, Alan. Thank you.
A sacrificial groundhog every year. That's bashed like a judge in a fucking courtroom.
Okay. Now look, we gotta add some parameters on this. I say each groundhog has to reach a Punxsutawney age of 12. That way, there's a whole lineage of groundhogs. So one that's just been born, he's going to be raised, catered, nipples rubbed. He's going to fucking have shavings of truffles for breakfast every year until his 12th birthday, when he is smashed by a fucking Gallagher style hammer after he's been injected with some sort of either blue or pink dye.
I would fucking go to Punxsutawney. Was it even called Punxsutawney? Is that the town?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would go there every year for this.
And they go to Gobbler's Knob, which is
Yeah.
funny in and of itself. I mean, if PETA wanted to, come out and say we should change the name of the fucking, I don't know, the party grounds where Phil comes out, maybe that would be a fair suggestion. Yeah. But I do feel like this is almost like a psyop being presented by conservatives through PETA to make us love Punxsutawney Phil even more. Because last year it was a giant coin they wanted to flip. This year it's a fucking gender reveal cake. There's 3 things in there that everybody hates. 1, PETA. 2, fucking gender reveal parties. And 3, vegan food. No one wants any of that horse shit. So you've turned
especially a cake. Come on.
I'd be open to like a rotation of different events every year too. You know what I mean? Like fucking Gallagher smash groundhog. Skeet shoot groundhog. Fucking, done. Explodes in air, blue. More winter. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like just a rotation. Just think of things. Trebuchet. Whoop. Just huck one. Just like 100 a pumpkin chunkin, basically, but a groundhog.
Release the groundhog. He's chased by Rottweilers.
Boom. Done. In. Sold.
We got to involve monkeys somehow, right? We got to get some. Yeah.
There's a monkey with a visor keeps the fucking odds for us on a little chalkboard.
And, listen, and outside of this arena of Phil's, or
there he goes,
Phil 1 through 55's deaths, more booze. We drink and we combat PETA and we combat the protesters. And the sign
this essentially becomes Preakness.
Yeah,
this essentially becomes Preakness pre 2000. Let's say.
By the way, PETA, this is what you get when you make dumb suggestions. You allow assholes like us to come up with even dumber suggestions rather than just leaving well enough alone. Because as we established last year, the fucking Punxsutawney Phil has the greatest life of any groundhog that has ever existed. All the groundhogs that have been granted the moniker of Punxsutawney Phil have lived better lives than any of us. They don't have to know how to balance their checkbooks. They don't care what prime numbers are. They care what prime rib is, because that's what they're being fed every morning of their lives.
Yeah. And, and Phil doesn't even see, when it comes to prime rib night, he doesn't even see shadow or not shadow. He just sees king cut or queen cut. Like, oh, you want the queen cut? I knew you did. You want the end, you little bastard Jew. Here you go. I put a little crust in there.
I will say, if they want to get away from the groundhog, I will allow for just a local drunk that's picked every year named Phil to go up on stage. Punxsutawney Phil.
Hey, my name's Phil. I was picked on at high school by a bunch of people.
What if they fucking get him drunk as piss and then throw him in a hole like a groundhog? Like they just dig a groundhog tunnel, but human size, and chuck a drunk Phil in there every year. And then whichever way that guy comes out in the morning, all hungover, that's your fucking same principle, human Phil.
And that's PETA proof. They can't complain.
They can't,
It's humans.
Yeah.
They're perfectly fine with humans being maligned. Or we bury Phil alive in the morning, and if he makes his way out, it's an early spring. If he doesn't,
that's fine too. Or we inject human Phil and get a bigger Gallagher, like the mountain for that bodybuilder guy. Fucking.
I was just thinking more of like a Trojan horse that had a
that works.
That was like had 8 people pulling the arm. Yeah, okay.
Or we could have Phil binge drink blindfold all morning long, and when he's called to stage, he projectile vomits into the crowd in whatever color.
He just drinks the blue Mad Dog or the red Mad Dog.
Yes. Oh, goodness gracious.
See, people, gotta put your minds together. Humanity can do good things.
Vegan cakes aren't suggestions. These are suggestions. These are solutions.
You're whining. We're going to the drawing board.
And you won't like you don't like the picture that comes out the other side. I'll tell you that.
That's right. You want the electrician Phil, who was picked on by guys like Alan in high school, to go up and decide whether or not he saw the shadow. Perfect. That's our friend or foe. Wait, then this is like, hold on. Let's see here. As we're recording, are they going to do it on a Sunday? I mean, Groundhog Day knows no bounds, right? It's February 2nd every year. Yeah.
That's a good day, man. I mean, like, it's a good day. It's a Sunday.
The Sunday before Super Bowl, you got a little time to kind of get a couple ciders in you, a couple hot toddies, if you will. I bet you they make some good funnel cake at that place, too. That just looks like a funnel cake haven. Like deep fried Oreos and a couple other more carnival kind of festive. But my guess is they probably have some 80-year-old woman who's been whipping up apple pie since we weren't even thoughts.
Ooh, some fritters. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, it's something nice and fall-y. Like, well, that's still fall. Like, is that a thing? Is that? I mean, look, some hard ciders, yes. Yeah, I think some fritter. Ooh, funnel cake with like the fritter filling on top. That's what you need.
Yeah.
It's probably like a turnover or something. Who fucking knows? But either way, it sounds like a good time. I wouldn't mind going to a fucking Punxsutawney Phil Groundhog Day and Gobbler's Knob. That sounds like a kind of like a hoot, really.
Feels like a wind bowl type of situation.
It's not. No, that's. It's not that. It's not Punxsutawney. It's not that. It's really not that close. Do you want to know, like, from where
it's
Alan and I are?
Bumfuck Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's probably northern central Pennsylvania.
It's
probably
4 hours by car.
Well, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, but if you were going to go and, like, stay for, like, the night before, the day of, and then leave the next morning, like, that would be...
I don't know. I've seen that movie. I know what happens. I'm doing that.
I've wing-bowled.
But let's be honest, though. We all know what we would do. Like, I mean, of course, he figures it out. Okay, we'd all have to figure out our own little life's riddle to get out of Punxsutawney. But, I mean, he had a lot of fun along the way.
True. That's true. He kept seeing that guy from Herman's Head every day when he came out of the hotel room. You think it's going to be another?
Oh, no, that guy.
I think it's going to be another. Yeah, no. And you know that movie was mostly filmed, I think, in Minnesota or somewhere else. They didn't even film it in Punxsutawney.
Why ruin the magic, Wes? Come on, man.
The magic. What magic?
The magic of the movie, okay? It takes place in a fucking rural Pennsylvania town, okay? It doesn't matter that it was filmed in fucking Minnesota.
Man, I guess. Bummer, man. I'm really sorry. Sorry to ruin your dream. All right, that's friend or foe?
Yeah, I guess the foes have it. No fucking changing of the Punxsutawney Phil. Look, bottom line, Peter, I'll say this. If you come up with a stellar idea, we'll get on board. But all your ideas suck. You know what? I'm actually thinking about maybe working for PETA. I feel like if I went to work for PETA, I might be able to help pass PETA's agenda along. I might be able to solve some fucking issues with them. Because they'd be like, you guys are so unreasonable and no one likes you. Let's make people like you again. Let's make PETA great again.
Let's make PETA great again. We have gone unhinged. I would like to get some press passes and we can go up there and just kind of mosey about, like, hey, we've talked about this on the podcast a few times, actually,
several years in a row. It's a good talking point, man.
Your holiday is a point of emphasis on the middle class souls, just so you know.
Well, and my dad's birthday is Groundhog Day, so Groundhog Day has always held a special place in the Murr family heart.
Does your dad see a shadow?
Hopefully a couple more years, yeah.
All right. Fun Fact Friday, Murr, let's get smarter with your time. Whoa.
That's right. It is time to expand your craniums with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of information. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Brought to you, of course, by our good friend, the Cuckster. And guess what? What? The Cuckster. It's been saved on TikTok. Because we have a stay of execution on the TikTok. So if you have not subscribed to the Cuckster on TikTok, it's Cuckster for life. That's Cuckster for life 1 on TikTok. And you can also find him on Instagram under the original moniker, Cuckster for life. Cuckster had any new adventures recently? I heard he got a new wardrobe, or at least a new accoutrement. to the
yeah,
wardrobe.
But Cuckster grew out the old stash, and it it looks more. How should I put this? Suggestive. I don't want to say. I don't want to say the word that rhymes with gapey, but yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say copyright infringy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no adventures. No, Cuckster hasn't been around the way. The TikTok needs to catch up. There's 2 versus like I think got like 70 or 80 videos on Instagram. So we're gonna see where that TikTok venture goes, and then the Cuckster will put out some new stuff. Don't you worry, folks. Don't you worry, Cuck fans. And by the way, I've gotten referred to. There's 3 or 4 close employees with me who refer to me as the Cuckster. The Cuckster over here.
Oh
my
God!
God.
Could you imagine? I'd be like, dude, stop it! You gotta stop it.
They do it in moments where it's they don't do it in front of the boss or my boss or anything like that. But it's a good company. But
well, let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you on a Friday. It's time for the Ripley's Believe It or Not. Time. Warp. Did you know yo-yos were first played with in ancient Greece? That's 500 BC.
Damn.
I wonder if they were yo-yos. You know, were they weapons, maybe?
I read recently, because I told William that they were once, I thought they were Filipino weapons, and then I read that was a myth, that was incorrect. However, I do feel like if you wanted to, everything's a weapon if you really want to bash someone in the face with it.
Yeah. And a friend of ours, Mr. Rallin Raxon, cousin of our legal counsel, yeah, he said a cane is the most unassuming weapon that you could ever have.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you walk around like you're kind of gimpy, and then you just beat the shit out of somebody with a stick. So yeah, I mean, like
bludgeon someone to fucking death. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of makes sense. That same person got approached by campus police at the University of Maryland for practicing his weaponry in the front yard of the fraternity house.
Oh yeah, well he's in a full fucking gi with a Bushido blade. No wonder if it's cause for concern. This isn't exactly fraternity row commonplace. With a 6-foot staff and a giant fucking dagger on the end.
You're gonna get some looks. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, whoa there, cowboy! What are you doing out here?
It's a few looks.
Yeah. I'm not a cowboy. I'm a fucking master.
Yeah, he did a lot of strength training tricks out in the old front yard there. It's fun. It's interesting. You know, sit out, have a few beers.
You know what you should have done? You should have had a yo-yo. Be like, this yo-yo is like 6,000 years old. People have been whipping this fucker around for a long time. Huh? Did you know that?
What do you think?
Okay. Look at this. I could rock the baby. Woo!
Did you know? In February 1930, Pluto was discovered. 1 month later, frozen food went on sale for the first time.
Damn.
Yeah. Was
that
frozen food from Pluto? Weird. They streamlined that. That's wild.
A little strange.
Well,
yeah.
The story behind frozen food is actually kind of fascinating. Mr. Birdseye, he was in Alaska and he hung up some fish, and the back door blew open while he was doing it, and then when he opened the front door, this rush of Arctic wind from Alaska came fucking roaring through and froze the fish instantly. He was like, "Holy shit! I wonder if we could do this with everything." And he spent all of his money creating refrigeration to do that.
Yeah.
And then I think it was bought by the Kraft family. And then
So okay, hold on. First of all, I didn't know the year, but I did know. I thought if I were to guess Pluto, I would have said like late 20s, early 30s. I did know that. Second of all, I didn't know freezers were invented a year later. Here's my question: did they sell them as like refrigerators existed? Yeah.
refrigeration existed, yes.
Yeah, and but without freezers, were they separate units for a while, and then did later on someone be like, "Hey, we ought to stack these puppies to."
If I'm remembering my
Space
history
saving.
correctly, they actually had to convinced grocery stores to sell the product by giving them a free freezer, because it was not a common thing. So your local grocer did not have a frozen food section because there was no frozen foods to freeze, to keep frozen. So they had to give away that. And it was like, if we give you this freezer, will you sell our product?
Okay.
And when they said yes,
we're going to sell you this product, and then you take it and freeze it ASAP.
No, it was already frozen. It came frozen and
but it can't maintain frozen. Okay, gotcha.
Right, so they had to give them the freezers, and that's why they sold to like Kraft, because it was like, we ain't got that kind of scratch. I mean,
see, because like when I buy a home, or buy a good home, I want one of those bastards that you have to like lift up, and it's like a big box, and you lift it up. One that an atom bomb can fucking withstand, it could withstand an atomic bomb. Sorry,
I got news for you. Those things, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to afford one, because Marie and I got one like right before the pandemic. We were like, we better get some food. What are we gonna store it in? We went to the Lowe's and was like, ooh, how much are we gonna spend? Well, this one's $89. I'm like, oh, okay. What's the next 4 up? Let's get that one.
You're talking about 4 jumps and like amenities and quality.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like,
gotcha.
I got $300. We'll be all right. I think we can figure it out.
I was thinking about just going to Facebook Marketplace and having some old timer be like, "Yep, this shit right here. I had a lot of beer in here.
I kept all my fresh trout in here for years." Yeah, just get a new one, buddy. Let's not worry about that.
All right. I just remember my grandparents had one, but mind you, in their house they also had 3 refrigerators and freezers strategically placed throughout the house. But in that, it was like an unlimited supply of fudge pops. Dewey, and my cousins tried to we're like, okay, we have 2 weeks. Let's see if we can get to the end of them. And couldn't. Every summer.
That's some solid grandparenting right there.
I know, God. And my dentist loved it.
Dude, you know what I haven't seen in a long time, and I know why? The Jell-O pudding pops have basically been discontinued because of the Cosby fiasco.
Alan, what do you think about that? The pudding pops.
I'm gonna leave that one alone, I think.
Dude, think about the power that Bill Cosby had back in the mid 80s to mid 90s. Like, he was the face of New Coke. He was the face of Jell-O pudding pops. And his association with the pudding pop is so undeniable that they can't fucking sell them anymore.
What did she put another face on it? Put it like Chappelle. Give me like a William Brady. What's his face?
Tom?
No, not Tom fucking Brady.
Wayne?
Wayne Brady. Yeah, give me Wayne Brady.
I was gonna say Brady Anderson.
Give me Will Anderson. Will Anderson Smith.
I don't know if Will Smith's a better choice or not either, though.
Actually, just do Will Smith and Chris Rock. Have those two like, hey, would you like a pudding pop?
Flavor, smack you right in the mouth. Did you know the New York Stock Exchange began the year Beethoven took his first music lesson, 1792?
If those walls could talk, I would like to have been a fly on the wall with the ribbon gets cut, assuming the ribbon got cut. Maybe it didn't. They just opened the doors and be like, hey, you educated bastards, get on in here. Let's sell some stocks.
Let's fleece America. Come on.
Let's create capitalism. Let's roll. I mean, that'd have been interesting to sit in on.
Remember Ferris Bueller's Day Off and they go to the New York Stock Exchange?
Yeah, Cameron, I do, but they were in Chicago. What were they doing in?
Oh, you're right. They were at but maybe Chicago had a stock exchange of some kind.
They do. They have a small one.
Yeah,
because San Francisco has one too. Because they do the time zones.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. But either way, I would love to know. Okay, well, why not? Maybe Wall Street with Charlie Sheen would have been a better example. But
okay,
what were they doing? Because, like, I get now, with, like, your Robinhood apps and your T. Rowe Price and all that stuff. But, like, what the fuck was Cobra, 2 Cobra, 2944. Like, was each human being, like, a representative of, like, a brokerage firm, and they were throwing out fucking, like, hand signals for... I mean, how did they do that? Like, what was that? Were they just keeping, like, pieces of paper, and at the end of the day, it's like, oh, man, around noon, you were up about $4 billion, but, man, 2:30, you fucked up. That's what this little fucking strip of paper says anyway.
Just kept their thread in the paper.
Yeah. Because now it's like immediate electronics, like it's an immediate transaction. Like, what was it back then?
There's a paper trail. It's a paper trail.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, those guys were awfully coked up for fucking... It had to be for good reason, I would assume.
Yeah. Can you imagine the 1700s? I don't know. Would you write it on beans? Cornmeal?
Give me 4 score of corn.
Just branded on the side of your horse. Because see, back then, this is another good one. Back then, that downtown New York area was... okay, when I say bustling, it's all relative. It wasn't like it is now, but it was a metropolitan city. But if you go like 15, 16 blocks north and then all the way to the very tippy top of Harlem, like 260th Street, that was farmland.
Yeah. Well, I love looking at old pictures or old drawings anyway of like old Manhattan. It's like, how did that thing become this thing?
Yeah. You see squatters, like people who started shacking up in Central Park in the 30s. Well, fuck this. This is home. And dare I say squatters, excuse me, survivors. People who were trying to live.
Alan, you got something on the stock exchange?
Yeah, I got a lot. I mean, we'd have to do a lot of.
How much time you got, buddy?
No, I don't. I'm fucking intrigued because I've never I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've never bothered to fucking again, bad at math. I knew I wasn't getting on that stock exchange floor to get yelling numbers at motherfuckers. Fucking, this just wasn't going to be my game. So apparently, fucking, just as a high level overview, stock exchange floor, physical space where traders buy and sell stocks by communicating with each other through a system called open outcry. Open outcry was apparently made in like the 17th century at the first stock exchange, which involves shouting bids and offers using hand signals and sometimes even body language to execute trades, blah, blah, blah. So apparently the way that this kind of works in a quick snippet that what I have seen is like there's some fucking bigwigs up, ringing bells and shit, fucking up there, fucking, they've got stuff they want to sell and or buy. They send a fucking guy down onto the pit floor. He yells a bunch of gobbledygook, like you were saying, fucking numbers, signals, hand signals, blah, blah, blah. Fucking, apparently they're separated into pits, which is what those, like, you see there's like pillars of like televisions and computers that like, that's what those are. And all of those pits represent different types of like product and services. So like you're selling securities or you're selling fucking like physical good, like textiles, you know what I'm saying? So like different fucking categories, and those different categories have their own fucking signals and numbers and all that shit that go along with selling. And then guy goes on the floor, yells a bunch of shit. Those different people who might want to buy or sell approach him with fucking different offers. He fucking weighs those offers, takes them back to his client. Client fucking says yes or no. He comes back down, arranges details, boom, trades are done. Then so it's just a primitive way of of what we do on like the Robinhood app, but they did it in person and fucking like through hand signals and fucking yelling at each other. God. Just a very elaborate way of doing it.
I wonder if you got into like very high-end linguistics, or if you were like my cousin's a speech pathologist who deals with deaf people. If you had to learn stuff like that, level 500, like this is how they communicated on the stock exchange floor, like what you were talking about, these weird elaborate hand signals. I'm not saying it's sign language, but I'm saying it's a dialect.
Yeah, no, it is. But I also wonder what it's like now. Like, is there like 4 guys still out there like, hey, Bill, yeah, get 10 shares of orange juice. All right.
Big QR codes. Beep.
And it goes right to the Robin Hood app. Wow. No, that's fascinating. It just again.
And then Alan, the weird thing is about halfway through, I thought you were like, oh, okay. And then it was like, and then.
I did, but like,
it's fascinating. No, I like it.
Well, I did because I got the quick overview, and I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense as just a general high level. And then I saw a word. This is how I fucking end up learning stuff. Is like I saw a word, and I was like, what the fuck's that mean? Click. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a thing. Fucking bop, 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 bop. Oh, specialist. What's a specialist? Oh, okay. That guy matches buyers and sellers on the stock. So, like, that guy's a whole different entity on the floor also yelling shit. Fucking, yeah. That I just went down a rabbit hole, and there's more to go down. But apparently, it's its own fucking language, and it's been around for a long time. And that's just how it happened. It just naturally evolved.
That's right. It's been around since 1792.
Yeah. Something fucking
92.
silly.
Did you know Hulk Hogan made his professional wrestling debut the same year John Cena was born, 1977.
He was a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who he was first managed by?
Bobby Heenan? Jimmy Hart? It's one of the Japanese guys?
Who are we talking about? Well, I wasn't paying attention.
The Hulkster. He made his debut in 1977, the same year Cena was born. I said, "Who do you know who he was first managed by when he got started getting big?" Don't look it up.
Who bastard. Hulk was?
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I'm not going to get it. I think I'm out.
Classy Freddie Blassie.
Oh no, would not have guessed classy Freddie Blassie. Wow.
And then he was in Rocky 3 and as Thunder Lips, the Ultimate Male, and the world took off.
The world took off.
Things got better from there on. You can see the graph. It was from the minute Thunder Lips hit the silver screen, the world became a better place. Ronald Reagan started forgetting, and I'm sorry. That's such a bad joke.
Oh, wow. No, because it's funny that Bob Backlund. Okay, they didn't want Bob Backlund to lose to the Hulkster because Bob Backlund was a babyface too. So Bob Backlund had to lose it to the Iron Sheik in order for Hogan to then come back and win it for America. And Bob Backlund got fucked, dude, because he didn't make his wrestling comeback because he was the champion forever, years. And then,
well, but that's what I'm saying. How can you get fucked if you're the champion for 4 years?
Because
you gotta lose the belt at some point.
Sure, but then he wasn't a part of the WWF after that until Bret Hart came around and they had a feud.
Yeah.
That was 8 years later.
He got Wally pipped. Lou Gehrig, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, took over, and Hulkamania took over the whole thing.
Sure.
Who? That's the way it goes.
I know, but you would think that Backlund would be the next Intercontinental Champion for a while and have a little kerfuffle there somehow. Then maybe have him turn heel against Hulk, I'm the real American hero. And then, that kind of shit. They could have done that. Instead, he had to go sit in his fucking den for 8 years until Hogan left and Bret Hart came up. And then that was a great heel turn, man. The fucking crossface chicken wing stuff. That was a good.
President Backlund, yeah.
It was a good storyline.
The Hulkster, coming out here.
Okay. I always know
he had a theme that was before Real American. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I had the Tiger.
Yeah.
And that's when then copyright law started getting all weird, started screwing things up. So then
when musicians wanted to get paid for their art.
Yeah. And then I didn't realize the WWF had for a long time that one musician. Now he hired they did hire singers and stuff, but he scored all those things. He scored that, The Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
one guy.
I do like Bret. One guy. Well, it's the guy who did all the late 80s, early 90s TV themes. There's that one guy did Perfect Strangers, fucking
Full House.
Full House. What was the one with Alan Thicke? Kirk Cameron.
What was
Growing
it?
Pains.
Yeah.
Growing Pains. He also
Yeah.
did,
I was gonna say homegrown. I don't know why. It's like that.
Step by step.
No, that's
Step
not
by
it. That was
step,
my
yeah.
jam.
Damn, man, that's some good shit.
Step by step.
Hey,
Day
maybe,
by day.
maybe you wind up, on a stage at every other random city on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or you're in a studio doing,
Jingles? What?
winging up jingles for Carl Winslow.
And finally, did you know? By the way, I heard Carl Winslow might be implicated in the Diddy stuff.
Oh, so I said that because Chappelle made a very good joke about it when he did his SNL, like a couple weeks back, because they were like, the joke was the gist of it. He was like, my boy's been ragging on me because like I didn't get invited to the Diddy parties, so like the only thing I could think is like, oh, maybe they don't like me or something like that. And then he said something about like Carl Winslow was sucking dick at a fucking, and he was like, Carl Winslow got invited, not him get invited. He's like, now I know I'm ugly. Like, you should watch his monologue. It's pretty fucking good if you haven't.
And finally, did you know? A few Civil War veterans lived to see the Korean War in 1950, 85 years after the Civil War ended.
It's crazy.
What do you think those guys had to say about that? What was their hot take on the Korean War?
Jeez.
I don't know. Probably fucking senile by that point.
Poop my pants.
Basically.
They don't look like me either. Go get them, boys.
This is I think I mentioned this on the podcast. My dad, when he was like 16, used to go to a place where they would either not ID you or would kind of look you over and give you near beer, which they still served, which is like 2.5% or 3%. But Murray, you know this place. It's on Route 40, just before you get on the bridge to go to Havre de Grace.
It's the last, the last building on the right.
World War I veterans used to hang out there. When my dad was living, he said, and they were some crusty old fucking miserable pricks.
Oh, I bet they were, dude.
They deservedly so.
I guess. I mean,
we hated Europe even more back then. Like by World War II, we were like, we don't really want to, but they make croissants and stuff. That stuff's good. But the first time we were like, what even is this? Beans on toast? Like, fuck. Like, trenches? Like, World War I was awful.
Yeah. I mean, listen, far be it from me to understand why a guy some 40 years after the war was in some crusty ass bar in Perryville, Maryland, drinking his sorrows away, getting pissed off that a 16-year-old was coming into the bar to drink with him. I just found it fascinating because I even I never met a World War I vet, at least that I remember.
No, I mean I'm constantly fascinated by like the timeline because like World War II vets were just like still like robust old men when I was a kid, and I remember like they were in their 60s and 70s. Like they were still like
World War II and Korean War vets were robust middle-aged men. Vietnam vets were our parents.
We're our age, like now.
Right here.
Yeah. Like I was a nom. Like what? I mean, like that doesn't even make sense.
What is this? You probably have one, two, like only 5-6 generations since the end of the Civil War. 5, if you want to get roughly. Like,
yeah.
Ain't that much time, man.
Well, I mean, we say that, but like, think about the kids now in high school that are meeting, Afghan War veterans. Like that's the same.
But also think about like, do any of you know your great grandfathers or grandmothers?
I knew my great grandmother, sort of. I mean, I saw her twice.
Okay. Yeah, I never met a great grandparent of mine. So when you say like 5 generations, that's also like keep that in mind too.
Yeah, my great grandmother lived to be, I think she was either 100 or 101, so she lived a while. Let's just say that.
Your grandmother or your great grandmother?
great grandmother, and I think
Okay.
she died in like the 80s, like 89.
Yeah,
So she was
see,
born in the 1800s.
1800,
I
yeah.
know. I literally met someone
her.
born in the 1800s
Yeah. Yeah, that shit's wild.
whose parent was probably in the Civil War. So it's well, dude, Rogan's got a great joke about like the Constitution. It's like, you know, or the Declaration of Independence, and it's like Thomas Jefferson coming back from the dead, and it's like, you guys didn't change anything? I wrote that by candlelight with a feather. Like, he's like, it was only 3 people ago, because every, you know, like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we're pretty fucking young in comparison to the rest of the global civilizations.
See, I remember fucking taking a piss in Dublin at this very unusual fucking bar. And its pisser was like down a couple stairs and into what I can define as like the beginning of a catacomb. And then there was just some pissers in there. And I went down in there, and this Irish guy was like, "You American?" I forget what I had that tipped it off, but other than this, fucking. And I was like, yeah. He was like, you know, this urinal's probably older than your country. And I was like, probably, bud. Like, honestly, like, you're not wrong. This stone looks older than our country. Like, I'm pissing on it. Yep.
Well, I mean, even think about like a place that is still a part of a daily retreat, like the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem. Like, motherfucker's 2,000 years old.
Yeah.
God. I mean, and I'm impressed when I see like a 70s like fucking Ford pickup driving down the road. Look at that. That's an old ass American product.
Like right a there. Fucking, it has to be, it can't be much fucking far in model year from OJ's Bronco, but it was a blue one. And it was at the gas station at like the little gas station on Hanover West, fucking like the block down from Mum's. Fucking, and just some fucking like some like 22-year-old chick driving it, and I was like, that's a dope Bronco. And that's from like 1992.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, they need to update the code on what is considered a classic car, because I saw a fucking Geo with a fucking
historic
tag on there.
20 years, baby.
I know. Cars are lasting a lot longer than they used to.
Yeah.
There needs to be a category.
You don't need emissions, and insurance is dirt cheap.
Nope, just drive it on the weekends.
I tell you,
that's right.
I'm trying to find me. Yeah. I told my buddy I was trying to find me an old fucking an old Toyota truck. Like before they were Tacomas or anything, they were just like Toyota trucks. Like and they had like maybe a letter number combo to distinguish
the ISIS special, just the white Toyota truck.
Exactly. So like that, then my buddy Matt was like, "Oh, you talking about the fucking the Taliban joint?" And I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely." He was like, "We got to mount a stationary gun fucking mount to that bitch though." And I was like, "You weld it, buddy. You can do it. Let's find one of these Toyotas." Fucking, I'm down.
They will come.
If you weld it, he's a welder. I was like, if you weld that bitch on there, we will do it.
Dude, I got a buddy, global traveler, been to some of these places. He's like, it ain't no joke. Like, it's a cliche because it's real.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they have. They're original and they don't fucking break.
Well, dude, if you go honestly out at like going to Central and South America, Toyotas everywhere. Fucking because they don't, and older school Toyotas because they don't fucking break down, bro.
Dude,
built forever.
Imagine you were in the Toyota marketing department and you're like, listen, I got this idea. We can't do it, Bob. It's like, I'm telling you though, people know.
Could you not in like Saudi Arabia? It's just a market. You know, you got to just pick the right market.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a good
point.
And
I even said, I was like, I'm gonna get this bitch painted fucking tan, just beige, and fucking with like a orange, like a burnt orange racing stripe, and that's it. Just fucking Toyota truck.
Yeah, that's it. I
mount for a 50 cal in the zombie apocalypse.
I've owned 7 vehicles, and two of them have been historic. One was historic. One wasn't. One was just like an early '90s Accord, and I was like, "Fuck this!" Put the historic on that. Murray, was you gonna say this is Fun Fact Friday?
That, my friends, was your Fun Fact Friday.
Yeah.
All right, lovely. Yeah. Tonight, before you go, Middle Class Hole's Badass of the Month. We're going 100% going to try to do this once a month, whereas in 2024 we did it 8 times. Alan's already a Nixon. That's right. January's Class Holes Badass of the Month goes to NFL referee Ed Hockley. During the NFC Championship game where the Eagles defeated the Redskins. The Eagles are going to go to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl picks are coming next week, by the way. But during a string of Washington offsides penalties on a 1st and goal for the Eagles, Ed Hockley says, and I don't even know if this is from the rule book. I
looked it up. I've got clarification. I did look it up.
Yeah. I've never heard it before. And I found it to be fucking poetic, beautiful, lovely, and more importantly, badass. He says, Washington has been advised that at some point the referee can award a score if this type of behavior happens again. For now, it's a replay a second down. It's like a mom who is screaming at her kids and says, I'm going to turn this motherfucking car around. Bravo, Ed Hockley. I know you're jacked. I know you're in shape, but damn, man. He laid the hammer down.
And referees suffer the slings and arrows. Now, if it was a Chiefs game and it was the Chiefs that were like getting the awarded score, then it might be a bigger issue and a problem. So it's the right game to pull that kind of, stern determination off, or on, turn that on. But no, the rule book, because they were trying to cheat the tush push. And so they kept they were like, fuck it. They're within an inch. And so I think the rest were
half the distance at the goal on a defensive offsides or encroachment is what? You can't.
Yeah, negligible movement. Like that ball wasn't moving. That ball was going right in the same fucking spot every time.
Right.
And so they're like, listen, if you guys are going to keep fucking doing this shit, then we're just going to be like, the penalty is a goal. That's it. It's a touchdown.
But it wasn't like a defensive lineman getting edgy. It was like defensive backs jumping over the line.
Yeah, it's the same linebacker. He did it like twice or 3 times, and then they were like, "Yeah, you can't do that now."
It looked like something out of a 1950s, like the synchronized swimming video where people were getting propelled out of the water. Whee!
I call it the Bobby Boucher play. Just dive, double fucking front kick that motherfucker in the face. Like that's how you stop it. But hey, man, it's the tush push. Like, what are you gonna do? It's like 90% effective. So you try to time it. You try to get that Troy Polamalu fucking leap and see what happens.
Yeah. Does it now? I guess this takes away from the middle class holes badass of the month in January 2025. Ed Hockley, is the tush push? Are you for or against that?
I'm for it. I'm for it until you stop it. Like. Yeah. There's got to be a defensive play that allows you to, because I will say this. I think, who's the coach from Miami? The young guy.
Oh, that guy looks like he sells weed to fucking middle schoolers. I don't know.
That guy. Either way, his whole point is like, if it's so easy and it's such a accomplishable play on every play and every short yardage situation, every team in the league would do it. So they've got an advantage because they can pull it off. Either stop it or figure out how to do it yourself. Until then, it's not illegal. So keep it going, man. Like the bottom line is the NFL has got to be really careful about the types of rule changes they get behind moving forward, because they've fucked up some things. I do think the kickoff still needs a little bit of tweaking. I definitely think they need to fucking change the onside kick rules. That's just
you gotta. It's gotta be close. Like I did. Figure something that's about 10%, not 2%.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, congratulations, Ed Hockley, for you. Listen,
quite an award.
I know you won an award here. You got the Jelly of the Month Club here at the Middle Class Holes. Alan, tell all the would-be and the aspiring NFL referees who go off script where you can find the Middle Class Holes.
Oh, aspiring NFL referees, you go to fucking Gold's Gym for first downs, baby. Ed Hockley. No, of course, all your favorite social media platforms at MDL Class Holes, Instagram, Twitter. I'm still calling it Twitter. That's not ever going to change. The Middle Class Holes, Facebook, TikTok, fucking Instagram. Do we still have a TikTok? Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing. That's probably one of our biggest things right now.
Nice. Instagram, fucking, what else? Do we have anything else? YouTube, that's the thing that we do.
That's right.
Yeah. I like that this is just broken down over the the last couple months. Emails, tickle our tummies. Keith, send us one at gmail.com.
Come on, Keith Kern. Where the fuck you at?
Keith, hit us up.
We need to keep that account alive. We need some action.
We do this when I'm on the DU football show too. We send their email, and he's the only one that emails them, really. And so we're like, Keith, best of both worlds. You got to send us an email.
Seems like a swell guy.
Yeah,
I was going to give you, first of all, I was going to do it this week in Classholes history, but this is ran over. There's no need to put it on. But if I were to put you guys up to a vote, what would you vote? It would be the person who did all the mathematics and figured out what the date was for Ice Cube's good day date, or if you were going to be haunted by a cartoon, what would it be?
Haunted by the cartoon.
Yeah, it's gotta be that.
Haunted by the cartoon. I haven't looked at it in years.
I said. Yeah.
Do you want me to tack it onto this episode? This week in Classholes history?
Why the fuck not?
Go for it.
All right. Fuck it. Hey, everyone. This week in Classholes history from 2020, if you were going to be haunted by a cartoon, what would it be? Take her easy, folks.
Okay, if you had to be haunted by a celebrity ghost for the rest of your life, but you get to choose which celebrity ghost would haunt you, who would you choose? Wes?
Boy, I feel like you're teeing this one up pretty good for Bobcat Goldthwait.
He's still alive. His career's dead.
You're talking about, so it would have had to have passed?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Gotcha. Oh, boy. All right. Yeah. I don't want to discredit things like recent memory because, I mean, Burt Reynolds would be a good one recently. Now, there's been a lot of people that have passed away, There's been a lot of people that have passed away in history. Pretty much everyone who's passed away has passed away in history. Now that I come to realize that. And I believe it or not, I'm not going to go with Freddie Mercury on this one. I don't know if I want to go with a sports person who would just continuously want to talk about sports. A Babe Ruth. I'm sure his stories are great. Living in the Roaring 20s, being the most famous athlete in the world, eating hot dogs, drinking hot dogs, eating beers, having sex all the time.
You drink some hot dogs.
You want to drink some hot dogs? Come on, sit down with me, Wes. Drink some hot dogs. It's got to be celebrity. You're not talking about
You know what? I can open it up. Anybody you want. It doesn't have to be necessarily a celebrity, I guess, but just,
sure.
But for the audience's sake, it'd be nice to have somebody that they would recognize.
Right. I'd probably go with my man back here, Hunter S. I think that would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting.
That's a good choice.
Right. They teach me how to shoot guns, build a fort, run for fucking mayor of a small town, write, gonzo journalism, some drugs, some boozing, etc., etc.
I like it. That's pretty good.
No, that's great because the way I'm thinking of this is, do you guys remember the show Quantum Leap?
Yes.
Do I?
Maybe Scott Beck.
Yeah.
Well, no, because who was like the guy that was Al? Was that the guy that was helping him all the time?
Yeah, I don't remember it like that.
I don't remember his name, but yes, I know the person that he had to. It was his sidekick who was. I don't know. Was it part of his conscience or AI or something like that? I know you're talking about
Al.
that. Yes.
Yeah, Al.
Yeah, and no one else could see him but Scott Bakula. So, he was just giving him advice all the time. He was like, he would just chat with him, and that guy could give him like, hey, maybe you should try this. Like, imagine now that you were roaming through your existence with Hunter S. Thompson. I don't think you should punch that man in the throat. He disrespected you. Let's go get some cocaine.
And smoke it.
Blow the vapors my way. Alan?
This is a tough one, man.
Yeah, Murr's coming out with some heavy hitters this evening.
Yeah, so it's a ghost, right? I'm being haunted by this person, or yeah,
you're being haunted, but I would say you're like your netherworld life partner.
Yeah, like soul bonded, if you will.
Yes,
I gotcha. You know,
Maradona.
my initial thought was like to go something crazy, like something cool and historical. You know what I mean, like Abraham Lincoln or some shit. But then I was like, meh, that's dumb. So then I started thinking of comedians because I would like to have just a comedian hang around with me. And for some odd reason, my mind settled on Rodney Dangerfield. Oh. And I feel like Rodney Dangerfield kind of rolling around, monologuing stuff while I'm living life and like I'm just talking to Ghost Rodney Danger. I think that'll be a fucking riot. So yeah, for also my own selfish purposes, I want to fucking just giggle at Ghost Rodney Dangerfield for the rest of my life.
I thought we were gonna mind meld there. I feel like Mitch Hedberg would have been a better choice for you.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, dude, I love him too. That's a good thing. And I haven't listened to enough Mitch recently, so thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
We
enjoyed the rabbit hole you're gonna go down later.
We had Sarah had never heard of him. We played him. Played her like a 12-minute best of, and it was a fucking absolute riot. She's just like, I feel more complete. I feel like a better human having listened to that.
Because I have I'm a staunch advocate of club sandwiches. So when I first heard the club sandwich bit, I fucking lost it. Like it is so good. If you haven't heard it, go listen, folks.
My two favorite Mitch Hedberg jokes are the Dracula joke. I recently had to go to the dentist, so I went to Dr. Acula. He drained half my blood. He is not a good dentist. Dr. Acula. And then his Bigfoot joke. He's like, I'm not so scared of the fact that people can't find Bigfoot. I'm scared because he is a big blurry monster.
So good.
I always like the if a stoner comes up with a good thought, does a black light go off over his head?
Oh, but finally, my answer, yes. I was going to go with Lemmy Kilmister of Motorhead, because all that guy ever did was he sat at the bar of the strip club and he played the Mega Touch that they used to have, you know, when they used to have coin-operated machines at the bar, and he would drink whiskey and smoke cigarettes and seemed to have a rather simple outlook on life. And I feel like somebody like that could help the overthinking mind of myself kind of get through simple situations a little bit easier. Just say, yes, you cunt. Okay, yes. And just I could move on with my day. And to have like a fucking just dirty chain-smoking rock star with me all the time seems rather pleasing.
I like it. That's a good choice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. Rock and roll. Fucking nice.
Okay.